Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins with John, who is having a discussion about his mental health with his doctor. The conversation illuminates the fact that John formerly served as a Special Forces officer, but has since retired, and now spends a significant amount of time by himself. The therapist is concerned about John's ability to lead a normal life as a civilian, and wants to make sure he can do so. John is aware that he has not spent much time with his daughter in recent months. He follows the advice of the therapist, and makes the decision to travel to the United Kingdom to spend time with his daughter and granddaughter, in order to enhance his mental health. As soon as he gets back to his house, he starts getting his stuff together for the journey to the United Kingdom. Moving on to John's daughter Jane, who lives a quiet life with her daughter. Jane's life is uncomplicated. At the workplace where she works, she is a cleaner. She puts a lot of effort into her work, yet she does not have a car, therefore she is frequently late there. Therefore, her manager warns her that he will be compelled to terminate her, if she is late for work even just one more time. She manages everything with poise, despite the hectic nature of her daily schedule, since she is confident that her life would get better in the long run. Meanwhile, Jane's daughter goes to a school close to where they live in their apartment. After picking up her daughter from school, Jane drives the two of them back home. Immediately after that, a mobster named Razor and his goons are paying a drug dealer a visit. It would appear that an outsider is involved in the distribution of stuff in the community that is controlled by Razor. At first, the dealer is scared to give his name, for fear that they would kill him if they found out. Razor grabs a razor from his pocket, and slashes the dealer's girlfriend across the throat. The guy instantly discloses the identity of the supply, though Razor will still shoot and kill him in spite of this information. Shortly thereafter, Jane notices the police arriving at the dealer's house. Returning to John, he has arrived in the UK, and is ready to reunite with his family. However, Jane does not yet know that her father wants to meet him. John arrives at a hotel, and contacts his old friend Neil, who is now a colonel, and they plan to meet soon. Pious John visits his wife's grave, and promises to always protect his daughter and granddaughter, Wendy. Meanwhile, Razor and his gang are still searching for the rival drug dealer. When they find him, he starts to run away, and Razor and his henchmen chase him. Eventually, they manage to stop him and torture him. Razor begins to ask where he bought the stuff he sold to the dealer. The man reveals a name, and Razor kills him. John hears the screams and goes to check it out. At the same time, a man enters the parking lot, and Razor kills him. When John is about to enter, Razor tries to shoot him, but he runs away. Subsequently, Razor's henchmen chase him, but they are unaware that he is a former soldier, experienced in handling such situations. After escaping and neutralizing the gang members pursuing him, John becomes the target of Razor's revenge. After analyzing the dead, the gangster realizes that John is no ordinary civilian. Later, John reaches Jane's apartment. He receives a warm welcome from his daughter, who has not seen him in a long time. Jane asks him why he did not come earlier, but he says he did not have a chance. Now he reassures her that he will never leave her alone again. Razor goes to the club, where he talks to his boss. He reveals to him the name of the guy who sold the stuff on their territory, and the boss orders him to teach him a lesson. The next day, John accompanies Jane and his niece to school. Later, he goes shopping to cook dinner. As he returns to the apartment, a strange young man follows him, to find out which apartment he lives in. The young thug reports John's location to Razor, who is waiting nearby. Razor pays the thugs with drugs, and walks away. The thugs call their friends to enjoy the reward together. During dinner, John mentions that he will be away on business for a few days, leaving Jane visibly saddened. He gives his granddaughter a pendant, as a memento of him and his late grandmother. Jane, fearing that she will be alone again, asks him to return as soon as possible. After he leaves, Razor goes to visit Jane. His gang easily enters the apartment, and asks her where John has gone. She claims not to know, and Razor tells his men to take her to a room and have fun with her. Disturbingly, Razor enters Jane's daughter's room, and suffocates her, killing her. During this ordeal, Razor discovers that John is no ordinary man, as he finds a photo of John in uniform. Then Razor videotapes Jane being abused by his henchmen. Afterwards, Razor starts violently beating her, and cuts her eyes with a razor, causing her to lose her sight. The next day, Neil visits John at the hotel and takes him somewhere, to reveal the terrible truth about what had happened. John is devastated and shocked. He bursts into tears when he finds his deceased granddaughter. Filled with anger, he demands to know who hurt his family. Jane reveals the gangster who rules this town is responsible. Without hesitation, he embarks on a mission to get revenge on the one who did this to his family. However, Neil says he cannot go freely. He smacks Neil in the face, and knocks down the other 2 soldiers that are surrounding him. He walks back to the vehicle, opens the trunk and discovers several guns, before driving away. Not long after, an investigator shows up to inquire about John. They are given a stern warning by Neil: if they attempt to stop John, who is armed and dangerous, he will kill them all. Meanwhile, Razor hires a bad guy to keep an eye on Jane's place of residence. John travels to Jane's residence, in order to conduct an investigation at the scene of the crime. There, he comes into contact with a law enforcement officer, who brandishes a gun and threatens him. After John comes to the conclusion that the police are collaborating with the criminals, he asks the officer about the homicides that have been taking place in this area. The officer begins to talk about Razor's boss, and the clubs that he is in charge of running. As John is leaving the apartment, he comes face to face with the henchman that Razor had paid off. During this interaction, John inquires about information regarding Razor's superior. The terrified henchman confesses that his name is Colder, and that he spends his evenings at a well-known strip club. After arriving at Colder's club, John immediately places an order for a Coke, before heading back to his vehicle to retrieve his weapons. After some time, he attacks and kills all of the security personnel, while pursuing Colder. The criminal divulges the information that it was Razor who was responsible for the tragedy, and begs for his life, and insists that he never gave Razor the order to hurt his family, but John does not have any compassion for him, and ends his life, shooting him. The cops arrive at the nightclub not long after, to investigate the fallout and determine the penalties. The chief of police makes contact with Colonel Neil, in order to obtain additional information regarding John. Neil warns that John is an extremely hazardous killing machine, and he questions whether or not the authorities will be able to control him. John places a call to Neil, and tells him he will report himself to the authorities as soon as he is finished with Razor. But John can't find him without assistance. John has taken hold of Colder's phone, and uses it to place a call to Razor. He tries to convince Razor that he would meet the same fate as his henchman, but Razor seems unfazed by this information. Razor pays a visit to yet another one of his superiors, Cooper, and suggests that he should take Colder's place, in order to handle the business at hand. Cooper, on the other hand, is aware that he is being hunted by a very lethal assassin, so he declines the offer to help Razor, who demonstrates his shrewdness and intelligence, correctly predicting that John would follow him via GPS. Therefore, he abandons the phone at Cooper's position, in order to draw John to that spot. Razor delegates several of his men to the duty of guarding the area, before departing the location. At a restaurant, Neil has a meeting with the chief of police, where he relays the message that John will not relent until he exacts his vengeance. John gets the location of Razor's phone from Neil. As predicted, he shows up at Cooper's headquarters, under the impression that Razor is there. He does not hesitate before beginning a violent confrontation, eliminating all of the security guards he encounters along the way. After slaughtering everyone, Cooper emerges and announces Razor's whereabouts to him. John fires his gun without any hesitation, and hits him right in the face. Following the carnage, John comes face to face with one of Razor's guards, who is tasked with watching over the area. John is successful in apprehending him, and takes him to a warehouse to interrogate. There, the henchman spills the beans on some vital information regarding Razor's scheme. Razor's plan all along was to deceive his boss, and establish his own drug empire. He made an attempt to kill John, who had inadvertently uncovered his plot, in an effort to get rid of any potential witnesses. In the meantime, Razor has a meeting with his new distributor in Russia, to discuss sending a cargo of items. When he tells the Russian mobster that he has replaced Cooper, the Russian gangster is first skeptical of his claims, and does not believe him. Razor shoots one of his men, saying that he is now the boss. Unbeknownst to everyone, John has secretly infiltrated the scene, alerting the police to his location in advance. John brings with him the henchman he had interrogated, using him as a terrifying foreshadowing of the impending punishment he would carry out. Realizing that John has come for revenge, Razor orders him killed, and attempts to escape. However, although outnumbered, John quickly kills them all, thwarting their attempts to protect Razor. The police then arrive to capture the criminals and arrest John. Razor comes out and confronts John with a razor. During the confrontation, Razor reveals he took the pendant John had given his niece as a macabre memento, to savor the satisfaction he felt after hurting her. John violently kills Razor with his own razor, and states that he enjoys killing. Then John surrenders himself to the police without resisting. Neil approaches John, secretly providing him with a means to escape police handcuffs. John calls Jane, and tells her to take care of herself, and that he loves her. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.